Happy Monday, alligators. Welcome to Celebrity Court. I'm your judge, Al Reynolds. And today we're diving into the legal battles that have captured headlines over the weekend and, of course, have divided some of your public opinions concerning celebrity, some concerning politics, and definitely social issues. I'm also joined by an esteemed I call them my legal beagles, who will break down the celebrities' cases we're discussing, helping you navigate the legal landscape and understand the pitfalls to avoid if you ever come across these exact same issues in your own life. Joining me tonight, we have the one and only fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Welcome back to the Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back, Your Honor. Look like you got your hair done.
I know. I got my braids back. Also join us, the fiery Shatan Turner. Don't forget to throw those fire emojis in the chat. Will be our criminal defense attorney from straight out of Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Brian Ross. Brian Ross, welcome to Celebrity Court.
Let's go Dolphins. Let's go Dolphins.
Absolutely not. And last but not least, humorist at law, the one, the only, Sean Carter. Sean Carter, one of our newer legal beagles. Welcome to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be here. By the way, can we change my emoji?
Okay. Instead of the laughing emoji.
I want a clown emoji.
You want a clown emoji. All right, everybody. Don't forget to throw that clown emoji in the chat for a humorous attorney, Sean Carter. Throw that fire emoji in there for Counselor Turner. Don't forget the briefcase for Counselor Ross. And for your judge, throw in that fax machine. And we got a hot night of stories for you tonight. Be sure, please, hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite some friends to come over here and learn the law. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications and jump down into those comments because, as always, you will be serving as our jury, and we want to make sure that we get to all the questions that you have as it relates to these cases. All right, let's get started with the first case. Court is now in session. First up, it's messy tonight, everybody. First up, Kimora Lee Simmons. Fraud, forgery, and family feud. Kimora Lee Simmons is embroiled in a legal dispute with her ex-husband, Russell Simmons, who accuses her and her former partner, Tim Leisner, of fraud and forgery. The case centers on ownership of Celsius Holding stock, which I don't know if you guys had that energy drink, but I've tried, where with Russell claiming Kimora and Leisner used his shares as collateral for Leisner's legal troubles related to the 1MDB scandal without Russell's consent. Attorney Sean Carter, break down this case for us and tell us what we need to know before we can make an informed decision on whether Kimora Lee Simmons is guilty or not of stealing Russell's shares.
So this actually relates to Kimora's husband, second husband after Russ, Tim Leisner. He was a big shot at Goldman Sachs, a banker. They were over in Malaysia and basically, in a nutshell, ripped off the Malaysian Development Fund, money laundering, some stuff, a lot of bad stuff. And to stay out of jail himself, he had to turn state's evidence and also forfeit $44 million, which apparently he didn't have at the time. And so Kimora said, fine, Russ has got all this money. Matter of fact, we got 4 million shares of the Celsius stock. I'll just transfer that over. And Russ is like, hey, that's my money. And this is where the dispute happens. Now, it's called forgery, but it's not technically forgery because she didn't really sign anything, but it's the unauthorized transfer. He's saying that was my stock. At least half of it was my stock. And I can understand why he thinks so. I took a look at it today. That stock that she sold is currently worth $115 million.
Wow. Her portion or her and Russell's portion together?
Well, the ones, I don't know how much more they had, but the stock that she sold, right? Whatever that was, that was 4 million shares at 28 something a share. That's almost $120 million alone that he didn't get.
Now, hold on. I didn't understand. Shatan, Attorney Turner, help me understand. I thought she just pledged the stock to get him, and Attorney Ross, you can jump in here too. I thought she just pledged the stock for his bond. I didn't know she sold it. Why would she sell that much stock if the bond was only like a $50 million bond?
I mean, you called it fraud, forgery, and family feuds. There's also like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like there was a lot going on here. I can't guess what her motivation was specifically, but I can speculate.
Okay.
And it's my understanding that she likes the fast life, right? She had that reality TV show several years ago, and she does nothing small. She's tall, beautiful. She likes big jewels, and she likes a good time. And so part of that is how nice little Tim, if you look at Tim, he was a banker at Goldman Sachs. He wasn't a rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't Russell Simmons. Now Russell Simmons is all zen, but he used to be in them streets and was that dude, which is how he got her. And so I think the lifestyle kind of caught up with them, and she needed money.
Well, and let's be clear. At the time, by the way, I just took a look at it. The stock in 2008 was only worth $5 a share. So that was $20 million. That wasn't $120 million.
It doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she needed much more money to eat. I'm sure she had to sell some other stuff. And by the way, I got to tell you, if Kimora, you out there watching, holla at your boy. That's why they died. I asked my wife earlier before the show. I was like, "How much would you spend of our money to get me out of jail?" It wasn't $120 million. I tell you that. It wasn't $120,000. I tell you that too.
You know what, Attorney Carter? That might be why Russell's salty, because he's like, you're exiled on an island. I can't get no good vegetables over here, and you're up here taking my money to bail out some other end. Well, he's white, but you know what I mean. The sentiment's still the same.
Judge, if I may,
Yes.
this case has a big glaring problem.
What's that?
How is Russell Simmons going to avail himself to the jurisdiction to fight?
Exactly.
Like at a bottom line, if you are called to testify, right? It's a trial case, right? The lawsuit's filed. One person says they're mine, another person says they're his, and blah, 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 and back and forth. That means the judge can't rule on it as a matter of law. He has to let a jury determine it as a question of fact. So if you are in fact saying, I told her, don't pledge my shares, she never had control, yada, 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 affidavits are only going to take you so far. At some point in time, you have to show up. And when you show up, you might get arrested. So do you really, really want that money that bad? If I was her lawyer, let's go to trial.
You know what's so funny? What's so funny to me? Right, go to trial. So he'll miss the trial. But can he request? Can he say that for medical reasons he would like to do virtual?
Stop it. No. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You were just doing videos last week. Stop it. Cut it out.
So let me ask you this, because I always find this very fascinating. Like, and you know, I consider Kimora and Russell at one time friends. Used to hang out with them quite a bit. Spent quite a bit of time with them. And you're right, Shaitan. She is definitely, everything she does is big. Every event she does is over the top. It's like the best event ever. It's almost like a Diddy party. But what I find so interesting is that everybody in those circles now are under some type of legal battle.
It's too much.
It's like a lot, right? Like she like considered one of the godmothers to the twins for Diddy?
I think she's like raising them right now, right? Like, aren't they with her or near her?
Well, at one time they were with her. I don't think they're with her now, but Diddy, like maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe somebody could drop down in the chat. But all I'm saying is she's got touch points on the Diddy stuff. She's got a touch point with Russell. Both of them include some type of assault or some type of illegal activity. I just want to know what exactly does that mean?
Well, it's almost like it's contagious. I mean, the Diddy thing isn't just with the children. They were actually saying that Russell Simmons himself might be implicated in some of this stuff. And so that's a reason alone, like Attorney Ross was saying, he's likely not going to come to this country for this civil case, regardless of how lucrative it might have been, because his liberty might be at stake. I thought of something that's not funny because I need Jesus, but I will share with y'all and the algorithm. What I was thinking about is, the person you take money from is the person who can't come back to the U.S. to participate in a civil suit. So it strikes me that Trump just announced that he's going to be deporting all these people. And so if you're friends with a rich one, you might want to steal from them and then wait for them to get deported.
Wait a minute, the views expressed by Attorney Turner are not the views by Al Reynolds' YouTube channel in the celebrity court. What in the world?
I had no idea where she was going with that.
Theoretically, but come on, Attorney Ross. I'm just saying that.
Actually, you brought it up, Attorney Ross, because I didn't even know that myself.
Activity, but if people can't come back to defend themselves, then
steal their money.
I would not advise my clients to steal from somebody because they're about to get deported. Don't worry.
On a serious note, can he send his legal representation? Can he send his legal team to help?
The problem is right. So he could say, listen, I'm a corporation, like any other corporation, Ford, Nike, Kellogg, whatever have you. We're going to send a corporate representative to testify on my behalf. The problem becomes that the corporate representative doesn't have personal knowledge or firsthand knowledge of the events that led to this disagreement.
Gotcha.
He is the one who owned the shares. He gave specific instructions, and the lawyers, if they're smart, will draw that out. So he sends in a corporate rep. Fine. Hey, Mr. Corporate Rep, you don't really know what happened with these shares, do you? Well, I know what I was told. And the person who told you isn't here, right? Correct. And so that person is the one who controls the knowledge, right? Yeah. So you know nothing.
Get him here.
Correct. Then you move to subpoena him there.
Gotcha.
To Attorney Ross's point, he and Kimora Lee are the only two who understand how they had this joint account and what the understanding was, right? Joint account means that either person can take it all. And so that's why I always tell people two things you actually don't want to do if what you want is to keep your money. One is have a joint account with someone that you don't trust, or just have a joint account with somebody who you're sleeping with and put all your money in there. And then when they're not sleeping with you anymore, they take it.
Right.
The third one,
criminal, a person who's got a criminal background who could have the funds seized.
Right. And third is has to do with durable financial powers of attorney. So if you have a durable financial power of attorney, that is effective upon presentation. You don't have to be incapacitated or anything. And so if you happen to execute one of those, that means if you gave me your power of attorney, Al, regardless of where you happen to be, I can walk into your bank and I can take it.
Right,
off.
you serve as me. Right.
Yeah. So people just need to be careful. So I think there's going to be a big fact and evidentiary issue here because they held the account together. And I think at the end of the day, she's probably going to be okay.
Right. Now, this is a thing that I don't know, and I'm just thinking from my banking days, right? I don't know how big of a situation he wants to make this, because if I understand correctly, the development of the drink and the selling of the drink and it going public obviously takes someone to underwrite that. I would like to know what investment firm bought this drink public. Now, if it's Goldman Sachs, what does that tell you? If it's Goldman Sachs, then it tells you it could be her relationship with Tim that got the bankers to work on bringing the drink public and giving it positive reviews so that the stock value would be solid, so that she would have a her and Russell and her position, and it would have a very solid financial ground to the tune of what you were saying, Attorney Sean, $115 million just for her portion. So he can't be able to make too much stink, because Tim may have been one of the lead people to negotiate with the lead bankers to take on this offering going public. That's just my thought, because otherwise I can't see why he wouldn't have been more aggressive at the time in which it happened. What do you guys think?
Well, back then he wasn't sure necessarily that it was going to be such a big deal. It was only, but worth about $20 million. I'm not sure he even knew, right, that she had taken it. He seems that's not his only 20 million, right? And I looked it up though. The company was actually not taken public by Goldman Sachs. It wasn't even founded by them. It's not their company. They just invested in it early. Probably got one of those 50-cent deals where you supply some advertising or whatever, and we'll give you some stock in the company. So I imagine that might not have been so much of it.
But they were an investor in it.
Yeah, they're an investor. But here's the weird part is, think about it. They're not married anymore. She got to feel some kind of way about this.
What you mean?
If I spent $44 million to get you out of jail, and then you decide you're going to run off with somebody younger and cuter, I'm going to lose $33 million back.
No, you mean he spent Russell.
She spent. Well, think about it. Kimora, that's half her money too. She spent her money to get him out of jail, and he gone. You need it. And by the way, this is a good thing. I say this, brothers. If a woman gets you out of jail, you got to stay. You can't just be out in the streets.
I think she didn't want him to stay because he's got a whole heap of legal problems, that's just not going to be good for her in the Hollywood circles. She can't be attached to that anymore. Now she could be attached to him when he was the president of Goldman Sachs Asia, with the name and with the ability to have access to deals that are coming that could make people multimillionaires overnight. That type of access she loved. Obviously, that's why she dated him. But now he's a dead duck. Now he's on every federal call list. She can't do any types of deals with him or be seen out in public with him now, right, Attorney Ross? Wouldn't that be how it works?
She's done. Yeah, she's done. She has to separate from that situation as much as
but why separate for you with and also with $44 million of your money? Why not just let him go and just keep your money?
I mean,
well, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was feeling like he probably has got some touch point on the success of this particular deal going public. He probably had helped her and helped him in other deals that they have in their portfolio. So she can't piss him off, but so much because she got to get him out so that she doesn't get exposed.
All right.
And I read that they were married, and so depending on like their prenup, like she might get her money back. But you know what I think is interesting, and I'm getting inspired by Kimora Lee Simmons because she was with Russell. Russell,
we're going the wrong direction with you, Counselor Turner.
With that fine African guy from Amistad, and they had a baby, and now she's with this white man. Like, she is an equal opportunity person. She's her own dating UN. And so I think we should all just take a lesson. Give everybody a chance.
All right. Speaking of giving everybody a chance and messy, Tekashi 6ix9ine, welcome back to Celebrity Court. Tekashi 6ix9ine is working on a plea deal. Is it jail time or is this just a PR stunt? Currently, he's facing legal consequences after violating the terms of his supervised release, following previous legal issues tied to the 2018 conviction for racketeering and conspiracy with the 9-grade Gangsta Bloods. His recent violations include performing in Las Vegas without notifying his probation officer, testing positive for methamphetamine, and failing to complete a required drug test. Tekashi's lawyer has argued that the meth results might be a false positive, like attorney Brian Ross said, due to his prescribed Adderall usage. Now, how many of us really believe that? In response, the U.S. Attorney's Office has proposed a plea deal that will require Tekashi to serve 30 days in jail, followed by 3 months of monitored release, including a month each of home incarceration, home detention, and curfew. I'm going to go to you, Attorney Brian Ross, on this because this is my question. Now, the Attorney General's Office has proposed a plea deal that required Tekashi to serve 30 days in jail, which we know where that will be, right? He's going to be down there with Puffy.
Yes.
Followed by 3 months of monitored release, including a month each of home incarceration. So 1 month of home incarceration, 1 month of home detention, and 1 month of curfew. What's the difference?
It's a setup for the wet up. All right. This gentleman is all right. You have two types of clients of criminal law people. You have kinds of clients that can handle probation. You have kinds of clients that are called not good candidates for probation. This young man, for as talented as he is not a good candidate for probation. And the U.S. attorney is setting him up. 30 days in jail, fine. 30 days in jail. It's the other stuff. When you get out, you comes right. You can't smoke weed in jail. You can't do all this stuff in jail. When you get out, you get back to your house, you invite all your boys over, you're throwing a party in your mansion, and now you're partying again. Can't do it. He can't disassociate himself from those people. So 30 days in jail is not even enough time. 30 days home detention is you can't leave the house. Community control, you can go to work, church, and school. That's it.
Okay.
So you can't limit him to just work, church, and school. He'll never make it. Like he'll never make it. Like,
is that home? He doesn't go to church. Is that home detention? Is that for home detention or is that for home incarceration? What's the difference between home incarceration and home detention?
Just step downs. Home incarceration is they let you do jail at home. Home detention is you can go out to work, church, and school. That's about the only difference. A few more. It's a step down, but you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. You need to do longer. You need to do like go ahead and do 90 days in jail and just call it a wrap, bro. You ain't gonna make it. Give it up.
Because I got 4 kids. I can't make it. I can't make it to 60 days at home either. I mean, I do go to jail, but yeah, I get that.
You'll lose your mind.
Yeah.
And also, colleagues.
I'm gonna tell your wife you said that.
She watching? She knows she's trying to leave too. Why you think I'm here?
I want to clarify one thing. When I said give everybody a chance, that wasn't a man with 69 tattooed on his face. Like we ain't giving him a chance. But I just wanted to put that.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of the fans and critics are debating whether this latest plea deal is serious enough, or does it feed into this whole publicity campaign of him being a bad boy? I feel like if you just came off of a racketeering charge, why are you only getting 30 days in jail for breaking your probation? What is that about? I don't understand.
Because here's why, Judge. Because he's basically going to be a person who has continued to cooperate with the government. Now, what that cooperation is, I don't know, but they consider him a cooperative witness
because he snitched. Got it with the racketeering. Got
cooperation. Right? And so he wants that reduction, and he got that reduction. So they're gonna, and plus, obviously, this guy's got a lot going on. It's not just music. So he could have a nice U.S. attorney who wants to work with him.
Well, and also to that point, maybe that's why they're opting for the home incarceration and home detention too, because they're afraid he's going to get shanked in prison. I mean, Attorney Carter made a really good point in the chambers that, they ought not make public where he is because he might not last long.
Then your boy might not last long.
Snitches
right now. This is true. I didn't think about it, especially if he's working for the government, right? Because he did snitch in order to get the reduced sentence. And maybe that's why it was such a short sentence there, and they want to get him back home so they could probably keep him safe so he can continue to snitch.
Yeah, exactly.
He need to get a part-time job as a stunt double for the Joker, the next Batman.
That's a good one.
Now, let me ask you this. Is the case that he snitched on, have they come to trial yet? But do we know?
Yeah, those brothers went to prison. I'm looking at him here now. So Kafani Shotty Jordan got 15 years. Anthony Harv Ellison got 24. Jamal Mel Murder Jones, and I don't know why you want to cross somebody named Mel Murder, but he got 11 years. And Aljamia Nuke Mack got 17.
Wow.
So these brothers are already in prison, but they're not going to be in jail. So you don't have to worry about confronting them there. But obviously, there's some other people in jail probably have some feelings about it.
Yeah, especially a snitch, right? That's not so good. Wow, that's really cool. Well, speaking of snitching and being in jail, next up, T.I. and Tiny. Welcome to Celebrity Court. T.I. and Tiny versus Sabrina Peterson. Is this petty payback or is justice being served? In the case of T.I. and Tiny versus Sabrina Peterson, the couple recently escalated legal action by demanding payment of roughly $96,000 in legal fees after Peterson's defamation lawsuit against them was dismissed. Initially, Peterson accused T.I. and Tiny of defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress, but the appeal courts ruled against her. Following this, Peterson was ordered to cover the couple's legal costs. However, she has reportedly refused to pay, leading T.I. and Tiny to seek contempt ruling to enforce payment, including $1,000 per day fine until she complies. Attorney Shatan Turner, tell me what is going on with Miss Sabrina Peterson.
She is in trouble. So she has a judgment against her to pay $96,000, and she's like, hell no, I ain't doing it. And so now the question becomes, what are her options now that she's dug this line in the sand? Because you can be found in contempt of court if you violate a judge's order. Like, people, for the algoriters, you're under the misconception that just because a judge orders something that you believe that you cannot pay, that you just don't pay it and everything will be fine because people should understand that you're broke. No. The judge's order is what controls. And so if you've been ordered to do something, you can't just take the notion that says, I'm not going to do it. I have a friend, right, from Nene, and her ex-husband was ordered to pay child support, and he's taken the position that he doesn't have it, and so he can't pay. And he texts her saying all the time, like, can I get a break? No, ask the judge, right? This is no longer a private dispute. And that's the same thing with Miss Sabrina. So if she doesn't want to be found in contempt, she needs to try to appeal to the judge to try to get on some sort of payment plan or to do something that modifies the order that is currently against her, because otherwise only bad things are going to happen to her.
Now, Attorney Brian Ross, let me tell you something. I believe that when people are in trouble and they get a judgment from the law that they should pay it. But I don't understand T.I. and Tiny's argument, because their argument is that, not just that she's not listening to court orders, which is she flouts judicial authority, but also they said that this places a financial burden on them. How? How, Attorney Ross? They just won $70 million in a lawsuit.
Well, that language they put there is probably statutorily required to be part of it. You have to just kind of say it as a blurb, but you're absolutely correct. And when we were in chambers talking about it, I remember thinking, they just won $70 million, and T.I. said he's retiring because he doesn't want to sweat on stage anymore. So obviously you're not that burdened. This is just emotional enforced. But Attorney Turner's got it right. She's done. I mean, unless you come forward with some sort of modification, it's a defamation too. I don't think bankruptcy might not even help you. You have to deal with it, but it ain't no financial burden on T.I. He's got millions of dollars now, millions of dollars.
But they're saying that, right, Attorney Ross, in order to just persuade the court that it's a burden to them. It's kind of something, it's not quite boilerplate, but it's something that you say when you want the money.
Yeah, the burden is we have to pay a lawyer to chase it down, and we should have to pay it, but they can afford it. Like, come on, stop it. You can afford it.
Well, it's actually strategic on their part. I took a look at it and realized they won the defamation case. So she sued them for defamation. And some of those claims were dismissed. And the court said, okay, for the claims that were dismissed, you owe T.I. and Tiny $96,000. But there's still a set of claims that are still going on. And really what they're trying to do is to get her to say, hey, you need to drop those other defamation charges too. And I imagine they'll come to some agreement where they'll forgive the $96,000 if she drops the other defamation charges.
So help me understand this. What is the defamation from? I thought she was accusing them of doing some Diddy activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the weird part: is we saw it with Trump. If somebody comes to you, if someone publicly says, "Hey, you did X," if you come back at them and say, "No, I didn't," and so and so is crazy, so and so is a liar, then they can actually sue you for defamation. I had to look it up, and it turns out that what you're supposed to say, and this is good advice, if someone accused you of something, you simply say, I didn't do it. But as soon as you start defaming them and start saying, well, they crazy, they got medical problems, she was stalking us, she wanted to get all up on this.
That's when she came forward and said, I'm going to sue you for defamation.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was just like that Nicki Minaj accident when she called that guy some kind of welfare, whatever, right?
Yes,
You step over the line when you start going into a character assassination. And so that's really the problem with T.I. and with Nicki in that.
And it also has to do with their celebrity status, right? And their touch with what they say.
Right.
So being able to put the image out into the media, their access, right? Okay. All right.
I've loved T.I. for a long time. His lyrics weren't exactly choir boy lyrics, so I'm not entirely sure what the damages are going to be. You know, you can have whatever you like. Apparently, he did not want
Rubber band man.
Yeah. What I found interesting was the fact
but I think the biggest thing with them, which caught me by surprise, is that they, allegedly they were drugging women.
That was crazy.
Right.
See, that's the crazy part to me. Is that if you said that about me, I'd be filing defamation case against you, right? It's weird that they didn't sue on that. They were like, we're just gonna let that go. And she's actually suing them for saying you a liar. Because I think it's way worse to be drugging people than to be a liar, right? And you think that they would have been coming out like, hey,
right.
Don't
why would they ever have to drug anybody?
This is the whole did he do it, the whole concept from Bill Cosby on through. Y'all never understand.
What'd you say?
I'll never understand it.
Everybody's filming it or feeling it.
I said everybody's doing it. Nobody has game anymore. Nobody's just talking somebody's underwear off anymore. It's all like, let's just make it easy. That's why I can't be
look, I don't get it.
Let's drug them and get the panties off. Oh my God, this celebrity court's going to hell.
I was out in these streets.
By the way, you just said everybody. You expect papers from my lawyers tomorrow, Shaitan. You defame me now. Girl. Yeah, everybody ain't doing that. Some people having sex the old-fashioned way, or very seldom on your birthday. That's the kind of sex I'm doing. It's sexual because it's my birthday.
Did you say very? Did you say very seldom on your birthday?
And Christmas. You get a little Christmas too.
Especially after 30-some years together. Oh my gosh. I was with a celebrity today. I was with a celebrity today at lunch. And he said, I've been married for 33 years. He said, he at least leaves his girlfriend's house once a month to go home to see his wife. I thought I was going to die. He said I commit to at least once a month. I leave my friend's house to see my wife.
That's such a celebrity thing, right? It's the equivalent of a cameo in your house. Yeah, you make a cameo appearance at home.
All right, everyone. I told you Monday night was going to be off the chain. Be sure to hit that like button because the likes aren't liking now. Throw some flames in that. Put that flame emoji in the chat, along with the new clown emoji for Attorney Carter, who is definitely clowning. And don't forget those briefcases for Attorney Ross and a fax machine for me, your judge here in the Court of Public Opinion. Like I said, be sure to hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Invite some people over to this craziness over here in Celebrity Court. Turn on your notifications and be sure to jump down in those comments if you have any questions as it relates to any of the topics that we're talking about. Next up, oh gosh, we're going in the wrong direction. Next up, Tory Lanez. Welcome back to the Celebrity Court. Tory Lanez versus a personal injury lawsuit. And guess what? He wants to see medical receipts because he is not convinced that there are any medical problems. In the personal injury lawsuit involving Tory Lanez, the rapper is facing accusations related to a 2021 hit and run incident. Plaintiffs Krishna and Jesse Grulon allege Lanez caused an accident that resulted in physical and emotional harm. Lanez, however, denies involvement and has requested access to Krishna Grulon's medical and mental health records. He argues that these documents are critical for evaluating her claimed damages. If the court grants this request, it may allow his legal team to question the extent of her injuries and any psychological impacts potentially weakening her claims. I'm going to go to you, Attorney Sean Carter. Now, this is my question, attorneys. Two people were involved in the accident, plaintiffs Krishna and Jesse. Why do they only want Krishnar's medical records. Do you think maybe they were tipped off that Krishnar? Ooh, is that Krishnar?
No, hopefully that's not her.
That's not funny. Bailiff, is that Krishnar? That's Krishnar?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Ain't it?
Yeah, that's
All right, but so they're saying Krishnar may have some emotional mental health issues. What's the strategy here, Attorney Carter?
Remember, Tory says it wasn't me. He doing the whole Shaggy. All right.
Again?
I wasn't there. It was
Again.
Yeah, the answer, right? Yeah, just like last time. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't in Miami. I never been to Miami. I can't spell Miami. I don't know what y'all talking about. And now this is the weird part is if that's the case, then that I don't know. He doesn't even see any mental records at all. Right. And then he's saying, but he's using what lawyers do. Lawyers get to argue the alternative. What that means is you could argue two inconsistent things. You can say, one, I wasn't in Miami. And two, if I was, it didn't really hurt you that bad.
Correct.
Right. And so that's what he's doing here. I used to explain to people when I was that, when I was in law school, my girlfriend was concerned. I was spending a little bit of time with the women in my study group. And I'd argue with her. Say, one, there are no women in my study group. Two, the women in my study group are ugly. And three, it's just sex with them. I'm in love with you. All right. Well, that's the kind of stuff you would do. Right.
Where do we get this, attorney, bro?
And Brian just mad at me because I done gave away his secret because he's still doing it.
Man, I told you to stop hanging out with Simone Red Wine.
This is, Attorney Carter is joined Celebrity Court because Attorney Turner. Now I see why.
Wow.
And so Tory is saying, hey, I wasn't there. And even if I was happen to be there and I hit you, you're not really that hurt. And if I hit you, you're not really that hurt. And if you hurt, you're not really that mentally upset about it because you were crazy before. So I want to see all your records to be able to say all that stuff. I'm not kidding. That's really what he's doing. And there's a tension there because on the one hand, you do have to prove your injuries. You got to show your medical records to somebody. But when you have mental health records, then it becomes an issue where now it's maybe, it doesn't have anything to do with you having a broken arm. Right, whether you've been in psychiatric care,
right?
And now we think that maybe you're trying to harass someone to try to, bring up, bad stuff about them and just embarrass them. And so there's going to be a tension there whether he can get the records. He's got to prove that he has a reason, right? That either one, it affects the amount of damages because she was already mentally hurt before, or two, that she is absolutely out of her mind and made this whole thing up, right? Which is hard to prove.
Attorney Ross, you've done these type of injuries, personal injury cases before. What would be your strategy here if you were representing Tory Lanez?
And I want, in what side am I?
If you're representing Tory Lanez,
there's no way we can assess damages. They've come in here and asked for X amount of dollars. We cannot determine how much that's without some sort of medical proof. So if you want to strike their claim for damages, then sustain their objection. But if we are required to refute damages, we have to have our own expert get access to those records and review them in the same vein that they would put their expert on and say that they were hurt. So if you don't want to give them to us, fine. People, that's called sword and shield law. You can't take the records and say, we're hurt. How much? Give us $10 million. Okay, show me the records. No. I'm going to use it as a shield and not give them to you. So therefore, he's going to win that motion real quick. It's going to take that's called a 5-minute motion. It shouldn't even be hard.
Well, couldn't they use the case, the Megan Thee Stallion case against Tory? Like if I was her legal team, I was like, listen, he's lying again.
What is happening in this picture? Like, what is happening in this?
Our bailiff is messy. Our bailiff is messy. Look at this right here. Oh my goodness.
I'm changing my legal determination just based on that suit. All right, whatever it is, he need to lose.
I mean, why did I go to law school? Like, it was a complete waste of my time. I could have just put that suit on and went to LA and put a tattoo on my neck.
Now, allegedly, when this picture is taken, he was married and they were messing around. Allegedly. What?
Like, this before or after he shot her?
I think the messing around
This
is
before.
by this picture. That there's no allegedly there. I mean,
oh yeah, there's no allegedly there. She did admit
her buttocks.
Yeah, she did admit that they did have sex a couple of times, so that's no alleged there. But what would you think if you saw your husband on the carpet doing this type of thing to someone that allegedly he's been having sex with? How did this happen?
I just think I didn't see the picture. I'm sure there was evidence of my husband out there doing something like that with somebody.
Wow.
But
if you saw the picture, though,
yeah, now I would be like autograph it for me so that I can redeem it for cash. But at the time, I may have gotten arrested because I might have gone looking for her, even though Megan Thee Stallion is like super tall and I'm not very tall. When you're mad, it gives you brute strength and you be out there trying to fight.
So that's the question. Why would you, Attorney Turner, with all your education, with all your accolades, with all your brains, where does the brain go when it comes to these types of things? Because why would you chase the woman? Why not beat up your husband? It's cheaper.
Well, I'm not a fool. I can't beat up no man, but I might have a fighting chance with the woman. So I take my earrings off. I put on my Vaseline. I wear all black. No, but seriously,
this is unbelievable.
No, Ross, I am not admitting that I would be committing crime.
I just don't understand how you know all of this. This is mind blowing. Like,
no, walk in the streets. That's what everybody does.
No, Sister Ashley,
you take your earrings off. You put on Vaseline. You make sure your hair is back so they can't grab it, and then you go out there trying to fight. But
Sister Ashley in the comments had the best. It's advice I always give people: cheat back. Right, that's what you do. You catch them cheating, you cheat back.
Oh, cheat back.
Cheat back.
I mean that probably is. And the funny thing is, so distracted by the picture, I had a legitimate legal point I intended to make. Down a rabbit hole.
Well, get it back together. What's the legal point here?
I think that this is just bad, and I can't even think about it. He wasn't wearing any socks. His pelvis was all up in it. I got distracted. I'll do better next time.
Trust me.
Well, you need to go on. You need to go on a date.
If I left my house with clothes like that on, my wife would hope I didn't come back. All right, just stay your butt out there until you get some better clothes. All right, until you get some woman to know how to dress you better. Anyway, he's probably going to win.
I know. I did have a point with the operators, and it had to do with the medical records. And this is something that a lot of people don't like about the law, but it's true, right? So the reason he wants the medical records is highlighting what Attorney Carter said, but I think people didn't pay attention to it. He wants to try to mitigate the damages. And so his lawyers are going to comb through the records to see anything that was existing before this accident to try to say that this accident is not the cause of it. To the extent she had psychiatric diagnosis before, then that lessens what he has to pay for this. It's an aggravating factor, but it wasn't the initiator, right? Like when I used to do private practice and people would claim fibromyalgia because of their emotional distress at work, you go back and you find out they've been treated for fibromyalgia for 20 years. So no, this did not cause your fibromyalgia, and it becomes more difficult to prove aggravation of a condition you already have. And so people should absolutely seek appropriate medical care. But when people are doing things to like beat the system for these low-level claims, and so they're pretending to have all this stuff, if they have a legitimate claim later on, it might not work in their favor.
So let me ask you this question, and I know this is selfish, but I'm gonna jump in here because I need answers. So I used to work where 9/11 happened, right? And then after 9/11, I moved down to 9/11 because that was the only place that you could get real estate in New York City at a discount. And I think it may have failed because they considered that area contaminated, right? And so the home value prices at that time went down like 30%. So you could get $1 million home or $1 million apartment for like $650,000, $700. That's what I did. All right. Now, when I was little, my mother told me that I had asthma, but I grew out of it like around 4 or 5. However, after 9/11, I developed severe asthma, like to the point where I had to carry an inhaler. Can't I say that the toxins from downtown were the cause of my asthma, even though I haven't had asthma for 40 years until 9/11? Or how would that work?
You can't say it.
Yeah.
You can't say
You
it.
could try,
Doctor
but
would say it. You can't say it.
a bad lawyer would say that he had childhood asthma and he had a period of time where it was dormant, but it became active later, and it wasn't a function of him living in that house. It was a function of his anatomy, and now your asthma is a function of you being Al Reynolds and not a function of where you lived. That's what they would say.
Yes.
Boo. I ain't got no money. I can't sue nobody.
No, you done. You out of luck, Jack. They tried to sue. They tried to sue Saudi Arabia, and I got beat up too.
All right. Speaking of missing,
I would make the case if that's true. I would still ask for it and try to settle out of court, because even a blind squirrel finds a nut some of the time, and so you might get lucky.
All right, hey, that's a good point. All right, thank you very much, Attorney Turner. All right, speaking of might get lucky, Bryson Byron, Nene Leakes' son, welcome to Celebrity Court. Bryson Byron, Nene Leakes' son, recently encountered legal trouble stemming from a 2023 arrest for drug possession, specifically fentanyl. To avoid jail, he agreed to a plea deal in July 2024, accepting probation and several conditions, including mandatory check-ins, drug testing, and community service. Recently, Brian has missed probation check-ins, raising concerns over potential future violations. He's also been missing these appointments, which has put him at risk of probation revocation and possible jail time. The situation could also impact his mother, Nene's public interest, drawing attention to her high-profile status. Attorney Shatan Turner, what say you? Now, we've learned on social media, specifically IG, that he's missing. No one can find him. So what do we think about this particular court? And how do we argue to the courts that I don't know where my son is? I don't know what he's doing. I can't find him. I haven't heard from him.
Well, I mean, the good thing for Nene is that she's not a party here, so she can say that she doesn't know where he is, unless she's found to be, lying to an official. She's going to be okay. I hope that this young man has not OD'd someplace, because Nene's a friend of yours, and I know you're close to the family. That said, as a lawyer representing him, that is actually a fact pattern that you'd like. Not that he died ODing, but that he had some sort of medical condition that interfered with his ability to keep these touch points that he was ordered to do. You need something. Yeah. You can't just say, well, I'm not going to come because I'm tired, or something that's minor. It has to be something that interferes with your ability to appear, and it has to be credible. So he might be in an emergency department someplace, which would be a reason.
And that's one of the
things. A violation.
Right, but it could mitigate it, is what I'm saying, that the judge could have mercy on him because he is a technical violation. But if it's physically impossible for him to appear, then that would be an explanation. Otherwise, he's just likely bought himself a ticket to jail because he's not complying with the circumstances of his parole.
Well, he's no stranger. He's no stranger to the jail and high maintenance. I thought he had a transplant of some sort. No, that's Brent. Her youngest son, with Greg, is the one that just had a heart transplant. Bryson is her older son, not with Greg, and that's who we're talking about right now in the court, celebrity court. Okay,
well, anytime that there is a violation of probation warrant out there for you, and it's drug related, your underlying is drug related, one of the best things you can do is tell the judge, I'm in a hospital. That's why. I mean, if you tell him I'm in Vegas gambling, you're going to jail. Where you at? I'm in the hospital. How long you been there? I've been there 3 weeks. I checked myself in, and the judge will say, all right, we're going to roll this until you check out of the hospital. Then they get a doctor's report, and I can get you out of it. So,
but the judge wouldn't ask for proof that you were in the hospital.
The treatment facilities have coordinators because they want to make sure that it's smooth. So they go to court and say, we have him. He's with us. Here's his treatment plan. Give us 6 weeks. So
okay, gotcha.
If he's in treatment, he should pop up. But this picture of him doesn't look good, man. This guy looks like he's having trouble, right? He looks like he's in tough shape.
He looks far older than his years too.
Yeah.
Nene's only like 54, so he's probably in his 30s.
Maybe he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Really nice guy though. Really nice guy, Bryson. I've only had great experiences with him. He's got a whole lot of passion. I just hope that he figures it out. And if it is a drug issue, I hope he finds a way to get some help, and some help that's permanent. All right, everybody, be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed tonight's show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite some friends to come over here and watch the show. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of learning and a lot of laughing. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. And last but not least, it's our time of the show where we go to you, the jury, to answer any of your questions that you may have outstanding. First up, Master Monsieur L. Coyota, Coyote. Then she married that extremely wealthy white man. How can somebody who married a hip-hop mogul marry a white man? Shatan Turner.
Moguls aren't the only ones who know how to party. Her type is rich. That's what her type is.
The type is rich. Correct. All right. High maintenance said, can you specify in a dual? I think she meant dual, right? She said adorable.
It's durable.
Okay. Okay. Can you specify an adorable power of attorney wording to protect yourself if you aren't disabled or incapacitated? Good question.
We don't give legal advice here, but I would say this. The point I was making is that whenever you have a piece of paper, right, that's your durable power of attorney for financial matters, it is effective upon presentation. And so that means that if somebody presents it to a bank or anywhere else, they can conduct business on your behalf. So unless you are incapacitated for some reason, you should not let people have that walking around. You should have it in a safe deposit box. You should tell people who you've identified as your power of attorney who it is, and then they should be able to go get it if something happens to you. But it's a bad idea to give it to someone for safekeeping. I don't care who they are and how much you trust them, because there's so many cases where somebody trusts someone and then the person had a change of heart, or what they thought was an emergency wasn't what you thought was an emergency, and they went and they took all the money. So as it relates to the disabled or incapacitated, those documents are different. So generally, when you're talking about disabled or incapacitated people, you're referring to the healthcare power of attorneys to make decisions when people are in the hospital. And that's just a different ball of wax. Those are triggered upon incapacity. So when you're in the hospital and you can't make decisions, then those documents are effective. Then if you can make your decisions, then they're not effective. But the financial ones are kind of cringy, as the Gen Zers say.
So, attorneys, what happens? I want to go back to Bryson really quickly. What happens when he turns up?
Well, he'll have a vote. He'll be arraigned like any other new charge, right? If you get caught stealing something, you plead not guilty. If you get caught, if they charge you with a violation of probation, you enter what's called a general denial. So he'll show up, enter a general denial, demand discovery, and set for a probation hearing. Problem with probation hearings is the judge is the jury as opposed to a bunch of people in a box. So the judge decides what's real and what's not. And I've seen him go real south, real fast on people. So he's got to pay attention.
Wow. All right, everybody. This is a part of the show where we, the judge and the legal beagles, come up with a verdict, and you too can join in the chat on the verdict. First up, all right, Kimora Lee Simmons. Is she guilty or not guilty of stealing Russell Simmons' shares in Celsius Holdings? Attorney Sean Carter, what say you?
Look at her. No, she is innocent of everything. She was a good wife. Baby, if you out there watching, get our money together. If you put it in, because she put on $44 million for a man. Innocent, not guilty.
Attorney Brian Rawls.
she's guilty as all day.
Right.
But it's well played because he won't come home to catch it. Come on, dog. Show up the trial.
All right, Attorney Turner.
Well, I think Attorney Ross actually contradicted himself because, of course, she's guilty. If it can't be proven, I mean, she's innocent. Of course, she's innocent. If it can't be proven, then she's innocent.
Well, we don't know if it can be proven yet, though.
Well,
You mean
he's not coming back, so there's no ability for it to be proven. That's what I'm saying. From an evidentiary perspective, it's going to fail. So she's innocent.
I got you. All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court, and we're going to find her guilty of being smart, steal somebody's money, then can't come back and get it. Next up, all right. Next up, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Is Tekashi 6ix9ine guilty or not guilty of violating his probation rules? Attorney Turner.
His look bothers me, so yeah, he's guilty.
Oh God! Wow. Attorney Carter.
Oh, he's guilty. And by the way, I don't feel bad for him because his last month he has to serve curfew. You know what else has to serve curfew? Me. I can't come home at 4 a.m. I got the same thing he did. I didn't even do anything wrong.
You need to talk to your wife. You on a tight leash over there. Attorney Ross, guilty or not guilty?
He's guilty. Why'd you go to Vegas without telling your probation officer you're guilty?
I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find him innocent until proven guilty, but guilty. Guilty of having an ugly hairstyle and a crazy tattoo. That's what he's guilty of right there. And get off of the methamphetamine allegedly to Tekashi 6ix9ine. All right, that's what he's guilty of. Next up, T.I. and Tiny. Who is it? Sabrina Peterson. Well, is T.I. and Tiny guilty or not guilty of defamation for this young lady, Sabrina Peterson? Attorney Chatan Turner, what say you?
I'm going to go with the judge on this one. They're not guilty.
All right, Attorney Ross.
They're guilty.
Why are they guilty?
I love T.I., man, but he's always getting charged with something, man. Public opinion, he's always getting he's guilty. They did it. Yes.
Okay, Attorney Carter. He looking bad like he won't.
I'm a little afraid to say what I think. This T.I. got money and can get to Arizona, but he might be a little guilty.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in the court of public opinion, and I'm going to find T.I. and Tiny of being guilty of having too much money to claim that it's putting you in financial distress. You had me till you said that, especially on the heels of winning $70 million. You don't have no type of financial distress, Tiny and T.I. At this point, now this is just all about who's got a bigger you know what. All right, next up, Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez. Welcome back to Celebrity Court. Attorney Sean Carter, is this man guilty or not guilty of causing this woman emotional distress? Physical and emotional harm.
He is guilty of not being able to grow a full beard. I'll grant you that. But I believe him this time. You can't be shooting Megan and being a Miami. I think he wasn't there. He said he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Attorney Brian Ross.
Come on. He's like, this guy is guilty. He's guilty. He's guilty. It's like not even
He's guilty or Tory Lanez is guilty?
Tory Lanez is guilty. Sorry, Tory Lanez is definitely guilty.
All right, Attorney Chatan Turner.
He's guilty of having a weak hairline and of what he did to this woman.
Well, this is not a woman, I don't think. I think Krishna looks like it's a man. Krishna is a man. I hope that's not a woman. That's not a woman, right?
This is Tory.
Oh, that's Tory?
Oh, yeah. He just
Tory Lanez. Yeah.
That's what he looks like.
Oh my God, I did not know. I thought that was all right. I'm the judge here. It's Celebrity Court. We're gonna find Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez guilty as charged. You just causing too much, not only physical but emotional harm to too many people. Did anybody watch the Megan Thee Stallion documentary on Prime? Man, that woman is going through a whole lot of emotional harm. I think she was going through it before the shooting, but that woman is going through it, and we wish her the best. Last up, is Bryson Nene Leakes' son guilty or not guilty for violating his probation? Attorney Ross, what say you?
He's probably guilty, but maybe he has a drug problem. If this is true, I hope you get help if you're watching, man.
Attorney Shatan Turner.
I have the same sentiment as Attorney Ross. It's technically guilty, but hopefully there's a mitigating factor and he gets help.
Absolutely. Attorney Carter.
I think that actually Your Honor, you're guilty. And here's what you're guilty about. You know so much about that family. You know which kid had which treatment. I got 4 kids. I got a 17-year-old. I don't even know his birthday. I'm not kidding. I got cursed out by the pharmacist 2 months ago because I couldn't give him the month, date, and year. I got the month and the year. So the fact that you were such a good friend, but you don't know my kid's birthday, you're guilty. Your Honor, you're guilty.
I think that's why your wife has such a tight rope on you, buddy. You need one. All right, I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're going to find Bryson. We're going to find Bryson guilty. But like everyone on the court says, probation is you miss probation, you miss your meetings, you miss your follow-up, you miss them. That means you're in violation. We do hope that if it is for anything that other than, drugs, that he gets the help he needs. I wish him and the family the best as always. All right, as we wrap up today's session, let's remember that the law is complex and celebrity cases often bring their own unique challenges, as you saw tonight. Our discussions, though, however, aim to shed light on these issues and empower you, our viewers, with knowledge. Thank you for your thoughtful questions and participation. And until next time, keep questioning, stay informed, and always remember the court of public opinion here for Celebrity Court is a powerful place where your voice will always be heard. Court is now adjourned.